welcome to the Liverpool Community Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch. And as you see, we're in our new studios here at the Big Condo Academy that we have moved. And, you know, what's interesting is that not just through the move of dealing with people in the community that we like to talk to here on a one-on-one basis, but eventually they would like to come back. And so here we have someone who has come back, you know, to join us once again to tell them an update about what they're doing. And so I'd like to welcome Dr. Diana Powell from Wirral Unplugged. How you doing, Diana?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having us.
Well, yes. And I know that Diana is not alone, you know what I mean, and everything like that. She is joined by one of her volunteers and everything, Loy Campbell.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Loy. And now we gotta understand Loy's kind of shy and everything like that. This is probably like her first interview, but don't worry, we won't hurt you, we won't bite. But we understand that you come with a particular set of skills, kind of like Liam Neeson. Well, okay, look, I try to be funny, but I think, Diana, you were saying you were looking for someone who can support your project with social media and tell us how you met Loy.
Yeah, so Loy first came to us when I went to the management school at the University of Liverpool, and I put out a call for student volunteers who were interested in supporting us with social media. And she got involved in a project called Eco Art in the Park, which involved us going into schools and showing them all about pollinators and passports and eco art done by a recycling artist. So at the end of the day, it was flowers made out of eco substances and bugs is the simple form of it. So she got to make a lot of posts about bugs and flowers on the Wirral. And then when we worked so well together and she was so good at communicating our message that I asked her if she wanted to make a Caribbean box with us because she's from the Caribbean. And she said yes. And so we went about spending 2 months' time curating a box, working with an artist, creating activities and things for children to play at home, to learn about the Caribbean through play and through food and through games. And after that, when September rolled around, I had another opportunity, and Loy was very happy to take me up on it. It was mentoring some School of the Arts and English students about ethical businesses and how do you communicate online as an ethical business? How do you both sell a product as well as have that social and educational angle? So Loy's taken on lots of different exciting projects with us.
That sounds amazing. I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about this training program, this ethical training program did you develop the scheme of work or, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So it was basically portraying sustainability with business. And I worked on, sorry, I'm really nervous.
You're doing fine.
I worked on helping the students being able to create visuals for that, like get the message across visually. So we gave them a little course on Canva and just how to create visuals that are appealing and also get the message that we want to across.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that kind of helps and works with your project about the boxes that you create because they're all very different, unique boxes.
Yeah.
And as I said, if somebody may have seen you on our show before, but could you explain a little bit more about the box creations that Wirral Unplugged does?
Yes, so we create boxes that have 10 hours of activities for families to do at home so that they can very easily unplug from screens, so have that screen balance in their lives without an argument.
Hence the Unplugged. now I'm coming back to it. It's all about the digital detox because Diana does not have a TV. We will not hold it against her for that, but she believes more in the tactile environment of families working together with these boxes, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's all about, I mean, the new generation, they haven't had a chance to be without phones, really. So, and children are not self regulating. So, if you ask a child, like, what do they want for breakfast, they might tell you ice cream and not kind of see the implications of that. So, in the same way, a child isn't going to all of a sudden balance their screen time if you give them a phone. But if you are building in a weekly or a daily activity with that child that you do as a family, like a game or making cooking together or making a craft, then those kinds of things will develop a pattern of behavior and support both the parents and the child. We know, like, psychologically, that children are really influenced by their parents, and that home environment is so important to feeling loved and listened to. So it works on several levels. It works on helping the children to communicate more face to face, to collaborate and problem solve. And those are some of the skills that we worry about them losing if they're on their screen too much. But also it helps them to explore. So essentially,
Well, you say it's like learning through play.
yes.
And what also is really good about it is that it also is good that it works well with young people who are involved in SEN.
Definitely. So we have a lot of families who have children with on the autistic spectrum, and also families who have additional needs, and they really enjoy our boxes because they're unique. They help them explore further, and especially if with autism, a lot of times children will have a specialty that they get really intense about, and because our boxes are created by specialists, the people who so for instance, we have an ancient world box that was created by someone who works in the Garstang Museum and did her, she's been on Egyptology digs and things like that. So
Wow.
with the content that goes into the boxes is much more like, if you want to burrow deep, you can. But if you want to just like make a clay pot from Greece, then you can just do that as well. So, but with Loy's box, for instance, they learn about Cayman geography through a game that's a little bit like Snakes and Ladders, but it has a turtle involved.
Whoa, would you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Cayman Islands has 3 islands, and I wanted to just educate the children on that, but in a fun way so that they could register in their brain. So the game
one
was
with the piece of string.
no.
Okay.
It was a board game, but on paper. So we were trying to get Sir Turtle from Grand Cayman to Little Cayman. So we had to go like through a maze and then get to Little Cayman. Yeah.
But there are pirates along the way because the Cayman Islands, they celebrate a national pirate
Yeah.
year,
Pirates Week. Yeah.
Pirates Week, and also the reason that it's a turtle is because the Cayman used to be called
Las Tortugas. So
Called what?
Las Tortugas.
Los Tortugas.
Las Tortugas.
Like a tortoise.
yeah, basically
yes.
because there was a lot of turtles on the island, so they
So
they
that's
learned a
our-
lot.
Yeah, that's our national emblem, and yeah, I just wanted to incorporate all of those aspects in the box and that game as well.
I think that's really what's really fascinating is that, I mean, so Diana, tell me about like the creativity that you had to that you've been exploring, because I mean, obviously when you were here last time, you were talking about several different type of bosses, but I understand like one of your most popular bosses now is the Day of the Dead. Is that involving the Day of the Dead festival that we've all seen on telly with the the white skeleton mask and stuff like that?
Well, definitely. So we had a woman from Mexico and a student who is big data scientist from Mexico who contributed to the box. And it's a fusion of Aztec and Catholic history and traditions. And so in the box themselves, they make a wooden nicho, which is like when you go into like a Catholic church and they have like little niches with like an offering or an altar or anyway. So they sometimes make these at and put them on their ofrenda, which is a big display that if you've seen Coco, you'll have seen an ofrenda. It's pretty authentic. So in the box, they get to make their own nicho. They make their own spirit animal. They do things like play Mesoamerican football, which was played by the Aztecs. And
It's also played by Namor and Wakanda Forever. And everything like that. And you might have missed that part. It was all underwater.
yeah, but there's lots of. I think it appeals to a lot of people who are looking for something both authentic and also a little bit darker, a little bit more unusual. So,
Well, definitely more creative.
yeah. So all of our box ideas come from the community. So either children ask for the box. So at all of our events, we ask children what they want and they give us a list. Sometimes it comes back unicorns over and over again, but there are other times where it comes back things like dinosaurs or engineering. So we make sure we do those things, but also we get student volunteers and we get them from all over the world, and we get people with jobs like civil engineering who want to share their knowledge with children. So it's a mixture of coming from different angles. And then I just get the lovely job of helping them develop that into wood and like fabric and putting it into some kind of magical box that people can open up and play with.
Well, I like the idea about these games in a box. It's like Jack in a Box, you know? It's like one of these games, like I think, because there's one of those new inspirations that you've been talking about now is with dinosaurs. So you got this Dinos Up card game.
Yeah. So it's a version of was it Heads Up? Was the
Heads Up.
Yeah. So apparently, like you take a card and you strap it to your head, and you have to guess what is on your card.
Oh yes.
But
okay.
the student artists designed things that had to do with dinosaurs. So there's everything dinosaur related. So it's quite fun, but they also have a Dino Snap game as well in there.
Yeah.
The other things that come in that box are just amazing. One is a chocolate fossil. So we've actually buried
A chocolate fossil. You mean one that you can eat?
essentially you have a dinosaur in chocolate buried in chocolate.
I don't know. I mean, like we're talking about fossils, dino remains.
Yeah. It's really hard to be a paleontologist nowadays. You've got to eat chocolate. Yep. Yeah. So as well as the fact that we got.
I mean, I don't mind eating chocolate. I'm just saying.
Well, another really amazing thing in the box, which came about because the children wanted dinosaurs, but I had a music student who came forward to want to work on it. So we worked on music, dinosaur sound. So dinosaurs didn't actually have vocal cords. Some of them, they sounded more like a foghorn or a goose. Of course, adjusted for their volume and size, so not like a squeaky goose, but like a low,
Yeah.
So in the pack, they do things like make a kazoo, so that they can try out what it would sound like, the reverberations. But also they make a dino bone xylophone, which is we repurposed wood from Bulky Bob's and also from the Bridge to Bamboo project.
Wow.
And we had a local maker who's attached to Ron's place. Her name's Sana King, and she went to Does Liverpool and cut it all up for us. And so the kids can put together this dino bone xylophone. And the reason why it's dino bones is because dino bones were tubular rather than like ours, where to get bigger, our bones get fatter, but theirs had a hollowness to them so that they could get bigger but still be fast.
Wow. I mean, it's just all fascinating, Diana. I mean, like, one of the things that also, too, you mentioned about these new boxes, that you have this Vietnam box. But what I've thought was really interesting is that your box focused on the differences because people weren't really too keen or sure about the differences between the cultures of, like, say, Vietnam and China and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And everything. You want to explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we had two really lovely international students, Jolie and Judy, who would have loved to have been here today. Unfortunately, they're traveling. But but basically they came to me and they said, in Liverpool, it's hard for people to understand the difference between our culture of Vietnam and Chinese culture. So they really wanted to have something that celebrated Vietnamese culture and showed its distinctiveness. So I learned so much, and I lived in Southeast Asia for several years. So I really enjoyed working with them. But one of the coolest things in that box is a wooden yin-yang pig puzzle.
Yeah.
You going to come to that?
No, I thought that was funny, but yin yang pig, I was going to talk about it, because it's supposed to be like, as you say, a sign of happiness and health, but, I just think it's just like really cute. Yeah, so no, I was going to stop you.
Yeah, I mean, it's ugly but cute.
Yeah, well, ugly but cute.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take offense to that.
The children get to color it however they want, because they were always brightly colored, but it's a folk drawing. So I explained it to you earlier as those little trolls that were kind of cool in the 80s that were really ugly but really cute at the same time. In the same way, that's the pig. But
I think kids, they don't judge. You know what I mean? Like God's pale kids, those little trolls with the high hair, they don't judge.
Yeah.
We get them early.
Yeah. But a lot of the Vietnamese games were just really easy to play and very fun. Like a bamboo jacks was one of them that's in there. So you got chopsticks and rubber ball, and you go for it. And they have a lot of things around nature, like crocodile games, because they had 3 native crocodiles. Who knew in Vietnam? So a crocodile game is always good fun.
I just think this is all really fascinating what your project does, Diana. I mean, and this is basically you had the update of what your program is involved in. You just received funding, didn't you?
Yeah. So in September, we got Awards for All lottery funding, which
allows it to be more free, isn't it?
Yes. So definitely good timing with the current cost of living crisis. So everything has been free for families to attend all of our events this year, and they've been very grateful for that. But also it allowed us to put more specialist people in place for our events to support SEND families.
You added like more Senko staffing, haven't you?
Yeah, so we have a member of staff that is actually there to support families, so that a lot of times what I find from parents of children who have autism or have additional needs, they always feel like they have to apologize when they go into a public place, like, oh, I'm sorry, like he doesn't mean, and explain. And when they come to our events, they know that we're already supportive of that. So they come to the door, we introduce them to the person who's there for that day. We show them where the sensory room is. And then from then on, it's this relaxed atmosphere. It doesn't mean that everyone that comes to our events is SEND. It just means that anyone can come. So we want to be as inclusive as possible. And we do get a wide variety of people from all over, from as far as Cheshire and Liverpool to the world, because we're meeting in Birkenhead at the Bloom Building. And so it's right by the Priory. It's quite easy to get to if you...
It's also by Hamilton Square, isn't it?
Yes, by Hamilton Square, yeah. So... so it's a lovely, lovely environment where parents can spend time with each other, and we also get sometimes grandparents coming along because it's a coffee shop as well. So
nice one.
Yeah, so they can.
Well, also like while their young people are involved, it gives them a place where they can sit and chill, and kind of like hang out as opposed to some kind of cold and insular environment, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of times we try to encourage the parents to participate with the children, but a lot of times what's nice is that connections that you wouldn't think, people who you wouldn't have had meet have a coffee together, inadvertently, because we have all these long tables essentially. So you're sitting at a table with people that you may not know. And
well, it's like you said, though. I mean, like parents of young people with SEN, it's like, they often feel isolated sometimes, where they go to places where they have to feel that they have to explain their child's behavior, or they have to be on edge. But like to be in a place like this where, it has this kind of environment of activity and play and craftsmanship sounds like it's more relaxed for them.
Definitely. And I think what we're offering as well is really, really high quality because the students are doing these things as one-offs. So, and a lot of times they're doing it as part of a project. So they're bringing in, like, it's not just, I mean, we work with a lot of eco-friendly materials. So we are, like, using cardboard and things like that. But when it comes to the thoughts and the ideas and the experience behind it, it's really, really designed specifically for that event. So I can't stress enough how unique and exciting it is to be at one of our events and try out one of our boxes.
Yeah, no, definitely sounds like something that people should do. So you're up to about 9 interns now. You said coming
Yeah.
in from the University of Liverpool, and the different skills come from like School of Arts or something.
Yeah, so we get quite a few School of Art students on philosophy and music and architecture.
English.
Yeah, English. And for them, it's kind of their first step into the business world, really. Because if you think about how many times do you have an opportunity to design something, like a product, market it, bring it to fruition as a 20-year-old, like most of the times you're going to be in jobs that are much more service oriented, where you're being told what exactly to do.
Or get some coffee.
Yeah. So what we do is we offer them an opportunity to essentially get a lot of really important life skills as far as teamwork, communication. They work with people from different departments. So Loy often leads groups of English students who don't have the experience of, working in marketing and don't have the background in marketing to learn enough so that they would be able to be a part of that team and put that on their CV and be able to move forward if they wanted to do social media for a business somewhere.
Yeah, I was saying to you, Loy, I mean, how does it feel for you, being in this position? Because, you going from being plucked out of, the classroom into a job of responsibility and training and stuff like that. How does it feel for you?
I initially took the role because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone, and I found that it really did that. It gave me a lot of opportunities to just be a lead, if that makes sense. And I found it interesting and very positive because they were so eager to learn about things.
Mm-hmm.
And they also applied their knowledge on their subjects to whatever they were doing with each box that we gave them to work on.
So, I mean, coming to the end, I mean, what kind of boxes have you not made that you feel that you're looking to make, that you want to kind of give a hint about what's coming next from Wirral Unplugged?
Oh, well, there's always something in the pipeline, but there's some fun things coming up. So we've got in January, we've got Iran. So we've been working with Sola Arts on,
I've heard of
and
them, yeah.
also a student of Iranian heritage. And so we're going to have an event. Then in February, we've got environmental chemistry. So lots and lots about poo, unfortunately.
Did you just say poo?
Yes, exactly.
Wait, camera on me. Did she just say poo? All right. What about poo?
So basically, a lot of environmental chemistry has to do with, making sure that everything's in balance. Too much of a certain thing can be bad. So, for instance, in farming, if you have too much, animal waste is good to an extent for fertilizer, but when you have too much of it, it goes into the water system. It can pollute the crops and things like that. So it's about showing the relationship between all those things. But because we know that kids really like poo, we thought it was an easy way to work that into some of our games and activities. So we're not going to be super gross, but we're...
Well, there are those kids who, used to make mud pies.
Yeah.
Probably something like that. When you open the box... I don't know.
Well, I guess we could argue it was sensory, but
gotta use all your senses.
We've also got some students from the university who are working on satellite technology who want to do a space box. So we've got plenty of interesting. I've got WhatsApps coming to me about, can this happen? Can we put this in the box?
Yeah.
So, and with...
Can we put Elon in the box? Can we?
Yeah, so definitely, and I think what's nice is that with every year, new people come and new students, new ideas. So it's always going to be evolving to some extent. But I try to. There's always a core of boxes that are for sale on our site, and I guess, during lockdown, the boxes came out of a subscription service, and then they developed into these really nice boxes. And I wouldn't mind it at some point in the future if they would go back to some kind of subscription, because people have been interested in that kind of thing in the sense that they would get a variety of us all the time. But that is probably for my directors to sit down and help me plan out, because I get so distracted by all the fun things. I've got a Victorian Christmas.
Also for your social media, because the main thing about it is that, these bosses, as well as the bosses you talked about previously, obviously it's what you just said. It's like you might have a collection of boxes on the shelf, and people might want to be interested in that particular box that came at that particular time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's a way of promoting all those different, because a lot of these boxes sound very unique.
Yeah. Well, they are. They're exciting, and I think what's nice is that with different student artists we've worked with, and different craftspeople we've worked with, each one has that person's stamp on it. So it's a way of promoting the local economy, and also promoting, real like creatives.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, this is all very creative, Diana, and I'm glad you returned to give us an update on what's happening with Wirral Unplugged, as well as to let us know what's going on in the new year coming to them. Also too is that like sometimes people don't like to talk about this, but Diana has a partner who's also a doctor, and who's also involved in the creative elements of things, and he's a writer actually. Dr. Stephen Powell, who has a new book coming out. So hopefully he'll come on to our show and tell us all about it, because he's been doing a bio on one of my favorite authors, James Ellroy. Is this right?
Yes, the book is called Love Me, Fierce, and Danger.
Wait a minute, hold on. Love Me, Fierce, and Danger?
Yeah, it's one of the things that...
Cool.
Yeah, it's one of Ellroy's lines. And actually, Ellroy, when Steve told him that was what the title was, Ellroy sent him a bottle of whiskey. He said it's an awesome title. So he got the...
Wow.
It's very like, Dashiell Hammond. It's very like that old kind of out of the past kind of thing. So, hopefully, write and comment below and say, hey, man, where's that Dr. Stephen Powell?
Yeah.
But no, it's fascinating. Definitely. And people can find you how?
We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and we have our own website. So it's
Would that have all the original boxes on there?
Yes, it does. It does. So I have
you haven't said a name though. You just said people can find us on all these social media
I
platforms,
see.
but never asked yourself what the name of the platform was. I don't know how I can find you. What am I, a detective? I'm not in the novel. But,
this is the part where it's supposed to flash across the screen.
I can't even flash it because you didn't name it.
So it's Wirral Unplugged. I always kind of stop for a second when I say it, because my American accent, you seem to do fine with it, but everyone thinks I'm saying World Unplugged, and I feel really bad because I can't even say the name of my company.
So is it wirralunplugged.co.uk?
.org.
See, that makes a big difference.
Yeah,
there,
wirralunplugged.org.
Yeah, so we look at on all social media platforms for wirralunplugged.org. They should be able to find your project and everything else like that.
Yeah.
But then also you're located out there on the Wirral. Don't hate. By Hamilton Square and everything, but mainly because of the funding that like a lot of your activities are free events. When's the next event coming up?
Well,
Are you doing one for Christmas?
yes,
or
Victorian
after
Christmas. So it's
Wait a minute, Victorian Christmas?
Yeah. So
How could she leave that out?
we're picking a pocket or two.
You're picking a pocket or two?
Yeah,
What
like
are you,
an Oliver.
Fagin?
Yes.
You know, like Oliver Twist?
We are. So we've got an English student who's taken inspiration from
And it's
both.
always an English student.
Yeah. But she's taken inspiration from both Dickens stories and also from early Victorian cinema. So we're going to make a zoetrope, which spins.
Oh, wow.
And she's going to show them footage of Victorian Liverpool.
Wow, that is good.
So
great.
yeah, she's very excited.
So is there an event that's going to be at, or
Yeah. But we're also
you don't
doing
have a date?
We're the 21st and 22nd of December from 11 to 1 and 2 to 4. You can book on Eventbrite if there's any tickets left.
I like how I had to pull it out of her though, because she.
Yes. So I've been having so much fun with it. Really, we're putting. We've got an order. One of the organizations we work with, they put in an order of 100 boxes for the Victorian Christmas box. So I haven't sold it on the open market because I can't. My house, I just can't take any more boxes than what has been ordered. But it's got.
You're like the epitome of Boxing Day.
But I wish I had some servants to come over and help me, with the boxes themselves, like if we were going. So but the families are all going to get because a lot of them are going to send families. They're going to get dried oranges and cinnamon sticks that they can wrap up together and hang on their tree, and they're going to be able to put together a zoetrope at home. And we've got a Victorian theater that they can put together with all the different printouts. So yeah, they're going to have fun.
Yeah. All right. So the last thing I'll just say is, this zoetrope, for those who don't know, it's like the kind of like spinning thing with lights, right? And it puts lights on the ceiling and all that. Is that right? Or?
Yeah, so it's early animation. So
Yeah.
basically, it was a cylinder that had spaces for, like you said, for the light to go through. But you would have incremental. We had a student artist from JMU design a man tipping his hat and putting it back on.
Nice.
So they'll be able to take that design, put it into that shape, and take a pencil and spin it. And they should be able to see the man tipping his hat and putting it back on.
Oh, I wish I wasn't missing that event.
Dr. Diana Powell. The creativity is phenomenal. So, listen, I'd just like to thank you once again for returning to the Liverpool Community Podcast, Dr. Diana Powell, and bringing along one of your people working with you, Loy Campbell, and everything. Wirral Unplugged is the organization. And, they're working with people of all ages, but also young people with SEN and everything. And they're providing these fantastic boxes of creativity. It's like boxes of joy. You know what I mean? Especially around Christmas time. So, either way, I'd like to thank you once again for joining me here, Dr. Diana and Loy. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I did.
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think anybody heard you. But either way, it's all good. I am Chase Johnson Lynch. I have my book like Jack and Nori. I like doing that. I close the book and I say good night. Thank you for joining us.